And we are live. Welcome. I can see there's a few of you already in our webinar this evening. So we're just going to wait for a few more to join us and we will get started. But this is one of our monthly Clubhouse webinars. This month our theme is confidence. So hopefully hopefully this will give you some confidence to set your goals. But we are going to wait. We've got 15 people registered, so we're going to wait for a few more to come in. Let's see who we've got in here. Louise and Paula, Joanne, Becky and Nicola, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm sure there'll be a few more of you coming on in a little while. I hope you've all had a nice day. I have been to the park and done a little bit of housework. Nothing too exciting. We did a half marathon training day yesterday, Pam, so I'm a little bit sore. So I couldn't do too much, but I had to get out and do something just so I didn't seize up. And there may well be a few other ladies who were there yesterday as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they say about that in terms of their confidence. There's a few more joining us. Okay, we'll leave it a couple more minutes and then we will get started. So come on, ladies, say hello. We've also got a chat function, Pam. So along the way, some people might ask for some questions and different comments and stuff, and I'll make sure that I feed it. So come on, ladies, say hello. Tell us how you've been getting on today. There we go. Joanne says hi, and Louise, hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so I think we will get started. It's 3 minutes past. So just like to formally welcome everybody to this month's Clubhouse webinar. Every month we do a different theme. And this month I chose confidence. And the reason was, a lot of us have signed up for autumn half marathons. So we're doing the Richmond half marathon in 3 weeks' time, and quite a few of us are doing the Race for Life half marathon, and some of us are doing the full marathon in October. And over the last few weeks, there's been a few wobbles of confidence with people saying, oh, what did I do? Why have I signed up for it? My training's not going that well. Or I'm sabotaging myself with food, and there was just kind of this sense of doom and gloom. And I thought actually what we all need is a confidence boost. And so every time I get a theme, I think, right, who am I going to get for this month's webinar? And I always try to work with women that I've met along the way, that I've met quite organically. And there's a lady that I met at a seminar of something called the Professional Speaking Association, which I'm part of. And I just remember her kind of boosting my confidence. So I thought, she does confidence, let me look into what she does. So this evening we have a lovely lady called Pam Burrows, and she's a master NLP practitioner and a qualified social worker and lots of other things. And she's awesome. So I'm going to let her introduce herself properly, and then we'll get started. So go for it, Pam. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I'm Pam, and my career started in social services, and I started standing up in front of people talking. Somebody said to me once, when did you first start standing up and talking? And I said, well, it was probably about 25 years ago now. And they were like, yeah, I think you were doing it before then. I think, yeah, actually, I lined up my dolls and I talked at them. So I guess I've been doing it for a long time and spouting off. But the thing that fires me up, the thing that got me started really was working with women, and working with women on assertiveness and confidence. And that was over 25 years ago now, and that's what still gets me. I was working with Notts Women's Centre, which is my local women's centre, on Friday with the whole staff team, and there were 23 women by the end of the session going, yay, we can do even better than we did before, we're feeling fantastic. And that's what fires me up. So I turn up at conferences and do workshops, but most of what I do is around confidence. It's either I zhuzh people up or I calm them down. So either confidence techniques to get you raring to go, or stress reduction techniques to say, woo, hang on, let's slow down a bit. And of course, for most women, that's the thing as well, you know, just trying to do too much and cram it all in. So that can be a thing as well.
Yeah.
So that's about me.
Fantastic. And do you run?
Well, this is very interesting because I ran when I was in my early 20s and then I didn't. And I've only just started running again. And I got myself a Fitbit, and now I'm doing at least 10,000 steps a day, which I'm completely gobsmacked at. And I know that it's mostly about the Fitbit. I've got a friend who's a personal trainer, which does help. And he and I swap personal training for business coaching. So that kind of means I have to have sessions. So that helps too. So yes, I do run, but I turned 50 last month and I've got a wonky knee and a wonky hip. And so, yeah, mostly I jog on the spot.
Yeah, but you have, I read on your website that you have helped people to achieve the goal of say, running a marathon.
Yes, yeah. One particular guy sent me an email and said that he'd finished the Amsterdam Marathon because of me, and something that I'll be offering as a tip later is what he used. So I won't tell you what he put in the email, but I'll reveal that tip later.
Fantastic, great. And I guess a lot of people say to me, "Oh, Julie, you're really confident, you know, in what you do, not only in terms of, you know, the business and being the kind of the face of the brand, but also in terms of my running, you know, having the confidence to sign up for marathons and things like that." And people say, "Oh God, you're fearless." And actually that's, you couldn't be further from the truth, because actually I am fearful a lot of the time, but I guess I do it anyway. And even when I'm not confident about doing something, I will say yes to things. And I guess that's how I've managed to build on things. So, for example, public speaking used to be something that I dreaded. I used to be, I mean, I've got memories of giving speeches where I literally went red in the face, I was sweating, just, you know, when you can't breathe and you can't get the words out, you're choking, you know. So to be, you know, doing a career now which involves speaking to people just blows my mind. I used to be really unconfident with picking up the phone. I still have that, you know, so I'm much more confident doing things via email rather than just picking up the phone and having a chat, you know. So I still have these kind of moments where my confidence is just not that great. And being photographed, being videoed, you know, I still have all of those fears. So I think there's a difference between being 100% confident and having it in the bag and just getting on and doing it anyway, you know, and kind of the practice. Sometimes the practice helps you to kind of gain in confidence. So I'm really keen to hear some of your tips and tricks around how you do build yourself in confidence. And I think the other thing to mention is that, you know, I always like to try and bring women into these webinars that have some experience of either kind of weight loss or kind of bringing their eating under control and things like that. And I know, Pam, that you have your own kind of journey in terms of that.
Yes, it was about 3-4 years ago. I lost 3 stone, and the key thing for me, the weight loss obviously made a difference to what clothes I chose to wear and all those kinds of things. But the thing for me was about the way that I eat and why I ate what I ate, and how I dealt with stress really was what it came down to for me. You know, when you've had a day where you feel really tired, or, you know, it didn't go quite as well as you would have expected, where do you head for, you know? And one of the when I help other people in coaching with eating issues and weight loss and this kind of thing, I talk about having a bridge between you and the fridge. So you come in after a difficult day, and if the first thing you do is head for the fridge, or, you know, wherever you keep what it is you're trying to have less of, let's make a bridge. Let's just, you know, and you might still go to the kitchen and have a glass of wine and a bag of crisps and a cream cake, but you're doing it consciously. You're saying, yeah, I'm going to have that today, and that's all right, and I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'll have something healthy later on, and whatever. But to actually stop and say, what do I really want? What do I really need? What does my body need? And those things. I think it's about tuning in. But I do want to come back to something that you said there, Julie, which was about about confidence, because I've been, like I say, I've been standing up spouting speaking to people for many years, and people say, oh my God, you're so confident, you know, how do you do it? And I say, well, it's not getting me talking that's the problem, it's shutting me up that's the problem. But the thing that I think is crucial that we should all really be aware of is that nobody, and I do mean nobody, is confident all of the time. It doesn't matter how somebody comes across. Either they're faking it till they make it and they're not actually feeling that confident, they just look like they are, or at that moment they're confident but doing something else. And perfect example, I went on my first park run almost by accident because somebody on Facebook said, is anybody going on park run? And nobody answered, and I thought, oh, well, I'll put something. So I said, well, I might do. And before I knew it, I'm on the start line going, geez, what have we done? What have we done? And my heart was banging out of my chest. And I thought, why am I so nervous? Why am I so scared? Where's my confidence gone? You know, I'm 50 years of age now. You know, why is this a problem? And I thought, I know what it is. It's because I've never done this before. I don't know if I can do it. I've not tried it. I don't know if I'm going to collapse in a heap and make a twit of myself. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I might burst a blood vessel or whatever. But I know that the key thing was, I've not done it before. And what's everybody going to think if I can't do it? And that's from somebody who teaches confidence, you know. So it's important to know that we haven't got it all together all of the time. But what we can do is go, that's what it is. And I don't have to beat myself up for it. I don't have to think that means I'm rubbish. It just means, yeah, there's something new and we'll give it a go. So it was all right. I didn't die.
Yeah. And I think that feeling that you get at the start line of any race, I don't think it ever goes away. So, you know, I've spoken to Paula Radcliffe and you know, lots of other female kind of proper athletes, and they say that fear is still there for them, even though they know they can do it. That, you know, they still have moments where their confidence isn't, you know, perfect. And I think sometimes we, you know, the ladies in the clubhouse, the women that I work with, we judge ourselves so kind of badly and think that we're the only ones going through that, and we think that nobody else is.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's absolutely crucially at the heart of everything that I help people with. It's about realizing the pressure you're putting on yourself, the expectation that you're putting on yourself, that, you know, you're going to feel this way or that way. You look around and you think, oh, everybody else is feeling fine except me, you know, and it's just not true. And then what we do is we go, well, because of this, I won't be as good as them, and we start comparing ourselves. But it's what goes on in your own head that makes the biggest difference. So, for instance, and I've got a little something I'm going to use as a demonstrator. Where have I put it? Oh, here it is. Right, so whether you realise it or not, we've all got one of these. And depending on how aware of it you are, depends on how often you use it. So what happens is you stand at the start line and you've done all your prep, and you've got your new pants on, and, you know, everything's all in order, you know, and you're feeling like Wonder Woman, and then you go, oh God, look at her over there, she looks better than I did. Oh, what are they going to think of me? And what happens is, inside your own head, you start doing this, and you go, oh, I'm rubbish at this, and I should have practiced more, and why did I have that cheese cob last night, and I shouldn't have had that for breakfast this morning, and why have I had so much coffee, because now my heart's racing, and you just at the start line doing this. And do you know what? Do you know what the really crazy thing is? That at that same start line, you could be saying, yeah, but I did drink enough water. I'm bloody here. I have done some training. I nailed it the last time I did that. You know, there is a huge bucket full of good things that you have done and that you are, that you can focus on. And that's the trick. That's about choosing what's going through your head. You're not doing what other people have perhaps done to you in the past, which is to pick out the things that aren't good, that haven't gone well, that, you know, oh, you're bound to make a twit of yourself or whatever. But you just say, well, hang on, yeah, I can choose to think those things, but they're not going to help. Or I can choose to think these things, which are, you know, I'm doing the best I can, I'm up for it, I'm not comparing myself to other people because I'm the best I can be, and focusing on that. So that's the thing for me, noticing what's going on in your own head.
And do you think you have to practice those kind of positive kind of affirmations? You know, is it worth writing them down and literally forcing yourself to say them if naturally you don't want to, if naturally you go for the negative stuff? Is it worth forcing yourself and practicing doing the kind of more positive stuff?
Absolutely. And you've got to set up a conspiracy for positivity. So yes, write them down, stick them up. If you want to just scribble them on a post-it and stick it on your bathroom mirror, fine. If you want to print it out with pretty colours and, you know, make it beautiful and put glitter pens on it and stick it around the room, then that's fine too. Have it stuck in your purse, on the sun visor in the car, you know, you're seeing it everywhere, all these things. Have it as the desktop on your phone, you know, just reminding yourself all the time. And even if, and this is the thing which has now had a lot more research, is that even if when you read those things and say it out loud, you're thinking to yourself, I don't really believe it, it doesn't matter, it will still make a difference. And the crazy thing is, it makes a difference to your brain and body chemistry. So it's not just that eventually you'll get the hang of it and you'll believe it more. It will change even when you're just saying those things. So if you're saying things like, I can beat my personal best today, or I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling strong, I'm feeling strong, those things will make a difference, even if you're not fully believing it yourself.
Yeah. And I actually do, towards the end of particularly kind of half marathons, when you've still got, or a marathon, when you've still got quite a long way to go and those negative thoughts start coming into your head, I do start talking to myself and saying, come on, Julie, you can do this. Yeah. And sometimes I don't always believe it, but just boosting myself up, and, you know, sometimes I say it loud enough for the crowd to hear me, and actually they'll then boost me up and say, yeah, you can do it, go on, girl, you know. And I do think it just gives me that second wind of energy, and you know, it just keeps me going.
The thing is, we always smile, don't we, when we say, oh, I was talking to myself. The thing is, we talk to ourselves all the time, but is it good stuff, or is it some of this, you know? So we are doing it all the time, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not. So it's about choosing what you're talking to yourself about. And I think it's great that it comes out loud as well, you know, and you're kind of doing it to yourself. It will make a difference. And choosing what words work for you as well. So, you know, it's not about saying, don't be bloody stupid, pull yourself together. It's about saying, yes, I can. This feels great. You know, I'm doing well. It's the stuff that does fire you up, and you choose those things for yourself, you know. And after all, what we're really doing is we're counterbalancing all the negative stuff that we see on television and in magazines and perhaps in person on an everyday basis. So all we're doing is balancing that up, you know, and giving it a run for its money.
I was thinking about in the clubhouse, the two key points where I see women at their least confident, and I think it's at the moment of sign up. And what I mean by that is I'll put something on the clubhouse saying, oh, I've got discounted places for the Richmond half, who fancies it? And there'll be, you know, loads of people that go, yeah, I'll do it. And then there'll be a few that go, oh, I wish I could, or I want to, but I don't think I'll be ready by then. And, you know, and I'm the first person to be honest and say, well, no, you won't be ready. But I think there are a lot of women that are, and I'm like, no, you are. You know, so that kind of moment of sign up, you know, do you have any tips for that?
I think, again, it's about choosing which bucket of stuff you're going to dive into. So if a woman is thinking, shall I sign up for the Richmond? No, I shouldn't. At that point, if she is actually ready for it physically, then, and she's saying, no, I'm not ready, it's likely that she's thinking about the day before yesterday when I had to slow down and I felt a bit wonky. Well, actually, maybe you were having a period. Maybe you'd forgotten to have your breakfast. Maybe you hadn't had enough water, you know, whatever. But she's focusing on those. So the tip for them, and perhaps for you, Julie, if you're trying to persuade people and get them to feel positive, is to ask questions about those things. So is there something that's put you off? Okay, well, let's look at that. let's see what the reason for that was, and then spend plenty of time saying, well, hang on a minute, when have you done well recently, and how did that feel, and how much do you want to do this, how will you feel when it's finished? So you think about the positives and focusing in on, I was helping somebody a few weeks back who is a speaker, and was doing the biggest gig that she's ever done so far, and she was feeling a bit nervous, unusually for her. And I said, do you know what you need to remember? And she's like, what? Like, what's the magic thing? I said, you need to remember you actually want to do this. You chose this thing because it makes you feel good, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves that, this is going to feel ace when I nail it. The other thing that I think is key, and this is why what you do is so fabulous, is that you're doing stuff together. That makes a difference. So what is going to get you to that start line? Please sign up. Who do you want to do it with? Who do you need there on the day? Well, let's do this together. If you can't be there physically, let's text, and group for each other. I think that stuff that you do is brilliant.
Yeah, and I guess that thing about, are you ready? The point is, we're never ready. At the point of sign up, we're never ready, because you don't train for a half marathon and then sign up for it. You're sign up for it sometimes having not even done half of the distance. So when I signed up for my first marathon, the most I'd ever run was 10K, and I'd walked a lot of that. So I'm always asking these women to kind of believe that I believe in them, and that it's you're going to have a process of getting ready for it. So I know that I'm asking a lot of these women to kind of make that kind of that jump.
Yeah, and one of my favorite phrases is lean into it. Just lean in. You don't have to make this big brave jump over a chasm. You're just leaning into it. But I think the thing that allows you to lean into it is letting go of it needing to be perfect. And I think that's another thing that we grow up with as women and girls, that you've got to be good and it's got to be right. And I work with a lot of women who are going for executive interviews, and they're really doubting themselves. A man in the same situation, research has shown, most blokes will go, oh, right, there's 10 things on the job description here. I can do 5 of them. I'll blag the rest. Once I get there, I'll learn how to do that. A woman will look at it and say, I can do 9 out of 10 things, so I best not go for that job until I can do all 10. It really is just about leaning into it, saying it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to turn up and do it, and then it'll get better then, and then you'll know what it is that you need to do more of or less of, and you'll learn in that process. But just lean into it and let go of the need for it to be absolutely perfect or the fastest run ever, or and so what if you need to stop even? So what if if something that you didn't anticipate, that you didn't want to happen, so what if that happens? You still went out there and you still did it. One of my favorite things is, I think I saw it on a Facebook poster. It said, it doesn't matter how slow I'm going faster than the people who are still on the sofa,
Yeah. And I guess the other point where people tend to have a wobble is about 6 to 8 weeks before the race. So they've gone for this whole thing of signing up. They've started their plan really confidently. They've ticked off their sessions. And then about 6 to 8 weeks kind of ahead, they start self-sabotaging with food. They start missing sessions. And they just start kind of, I guess they do a lot of comparing as well. So because we post where we're up to, somebody might say, oh, I've just done 8 miles. And the people that are also doing that race with that person think, oh, I haven't done 8 miles yet. So, that kind of midway through a project kind of just losing faith that they're going to get there, I guess.
Yeah. And again, it comes down to the expectations you're putting on yourself. Are you, again, the comparing is so dangerous. And I like to think of it like, how can you compare yourself against anybody else? Because we're all meant to be different, and you can all get to that start line through, whichever direction, whichever way is going to fit for you. And yeah, we have peaks and troughs with eating well and keeping up the miles and all of that. But eventually we'll get to that point where it'll be good enough. And one of the things that I like to think is, if you're gonna compare yourself, you can't compare a canoe to a super yacht, you know? So you just think of yourself being a super yacht, and there's a dinghy over there and there's a canoe over there, but baby, I'm a super yacht. You know, I can do this, and I'll do it my way. And I think focusing in on what you're doing, it's when you start to think about, let me give you this example. If you've ever been roller skating, skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, anything with dodgy stuff on your feet, there's a really interesting thing that happens. When one person falls over, what is it that tends to happen to a lot of people around them? They fall over too. And it's because they see somebody fall over, and instead of thinking, right, I'm okay, I'm balanced, I'm going to carry on, I'm all right, they go, oh God, I hope I don't fall over. And the brain can only work on what you make pictures of, you know? So if you say, I don't want to fall over, what do you make a picture of? Tell me, Julie, when I say that, what are you making a picture of?
Not bloody falling over.
How do you not fall over? What's the picture you've got going on in your head?
Stand strong.
Right, now you hit the nail on the head. Standing strong is what's going to keep you upright. But what most of us do, they go, oh God, I hope I don't fall over like they did. Make a picture of falling over in your head. Yeah? It's like saying, don't slam that door. Well, the child didn't think of slamming the door till you just said that. You know, that's the thing I can make a picture of. You want them to close the door quietly. But you didn't say that. You said, don't slam the door. I've got a picture now of slamming door. You know, when people are afraid of heights, we say, don't look down. Looking down is the thing you've just talked there about, you know, so the temptation is to look down rather than keep looking straight, you know. So when you're sabotaging yourself, when you're thinking, oh my God, I can't do that run, and my training's not going so well, oh my God, I can't do this. What we're doing at that point is we're rehearsing failure. And that's the crazy thing. We're not picturing how good it could be, how easy it could be, how much support we're going to have, what it will feel like when we're nearly at the finishing line. You know, focusing on that good stuff is what we really need to do. And not thinking about the failing is absolutely crucial. You know, you're getting your bat out again and going, oh God, I'm gonna not be as fit as everybody else, and I'm gonna have to stop, and oh my God, it's awful, and I better just stay in bed, and oh, I had cake yesterday, and you know, all that kind of thing. So yeah, we're just gonna leave the bat at home.
Yeah. I just that prop is just amazing. This will always be known as the webinar with that big hitty thing. So we've had a few questions in from the ladies, which is great. So for Louise, I mean, this really encapsulates what, you know, the two-factor run campaign is all about. But it says here, for me, it's probably worrying about other people thinking that I'm the overweight lady running. She says she hasn't had a bad experience yet, but it's almost like she's expecting it to happen.
Okay.
A lot of the women worry about this, so we're worrying not about what we think or what's going to happen, but we're worrying about what other people are thinking about us.
Yeah. Okay. So did you say that was Louise?
Yeah, that's Louise.
Hello, Louise. Hello, Louise. Now then, what I really want to ask Louise is, have you got qualifications and have you got your own crystal ball? Qualifications in mind reading. Do you have a crystal ball? Do you have, like, you know, mystic Meg things going on? I'm suspecting not. So we don't know what anybody else is thinking. For every person that might be thinking, look at that fat bird, there are going to be 10 more people going, geez, I wish I had that courage. I wish I could do that. And there may be, out of those people, somebody who then does get up and think, she did it, I'm going to do it. Now, if you walk into a room and people look at you, you don't know what they're thinking. So you may as well be thinking to yourself, they can't get over how gorgeous I am. That's actually what's going on right now. You're going to make up stuff in your own head. So let's make up good stuff. Let's make up stuff that makes us feel good. And my favorite thing is reframing. So you take what somebody might think or say, and you just turn it into a positive. So say, for instance, somebody says, oh my God, look at that fat woman running. You go, yes, I'm the fat woman running. That's exactly who I am. I'm running. And do you know, there's no insult there. You take all the sting out of it, because you're like, yeah, that is who I am, and that is a fantastic thing. And then nobody can hurt you with that, because you've claimed it, you've reclaimed it.
Yeah, and that's definitely what the Too Fat to Run brand is all about. And that's what women say, actually, when they wear the word fat across their chest. It's almost like saying, I'm saying it before you do. And as you say, you can't insult me with that word now, because I'm accepting that I am fat and I am running, and, you know, kind of stuff you kind of thing.
Yeah. And for every woman running, there are 10 women behind you going, go girl, go girl. And you've got to carry them with you in your head. Carry all of those women, the women that are watching that you're going to inspire, the women who will never get off the sofa because they're too scared. You know, you're out there and you're doing it for everybody.
Louise says, if you could see me now, I have a massive smile on my face. So brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to read out another one. Let's go back to, sorry, I'm just trying to keep an eye on all of this chat here. So Joanne says at the moment, what she's got some issues around is you just injure herself again. It's only been a concern this year, but now every time she runs, she's conscious of everything. I've got a knee injury.
I think I might have lost you.
Oh, there we are. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is about injuries, basically. There's a lot of us who have injuries at the moment.
Yeah. The thing for me, and I'm really strong on this, particularly when I'm working with women, is that a lot of motivational stuff says, you know, never ever give up, you know, this is your chance, go out there, rah rah rah. And I always think it's a bit testosterone, really, you know, it's a bit blokey, because sometimes you do have to stop, sometimes you do have to give up, you know, try again. And if it still doesn't work, stop it, because you're a damn fool for, you know, just hitting your head against a brick wall. You know, that's the way I feel about it. And similarly with injuries, you know, you have got to listen to your body. One of the things that that I teach in workshops is getting people to breathe into their body and tune in. What's the right thing for me right now? And you can push through pain. You can push through tiredness. You can, you know, you can get to the end by using your own mental grit and determination, but you don't want to mess up your body for good. You don't want to compound an injury. So in that case, I would say get lots of advice. You know, if you've got a physio, if you've got people who know about those injuries, take their advice and do the right thing. You know, don't mess about. If somebody tells you to ice it, don't just put it on for a bit and then leave it. You know, do it properly. Because for me, I'm going to use the prop again. Equivalent to doing this, not nurturing your body. You know, if your knee is really hurting and you're thinking, oh, but I wanted to train today, I'm going to run on it even though it hurts. It's like you're internally doing this. You know, you're saying it doesn't matter that it hurts. I'm ignoring the fact that it hurts. You wouldn't do that to anybody else. You'd say, oh God, have a seat. Yeah, let me get you a cup of tea. So we need to show ourselves kindness. And I coined this phrase, kindfulness. So okay. Mindful is about being in the moment and being conscious. And kindfulness is about doing that with kindness to yourself. So you're mindful of what you need, you're mindful of the pain, and you're being then kind to yourself. So what's the kindest thing right now? Sometimes the kindest thing would be to finish the race and push on through. Sometimes the kindest thing would to say, this hurts, I want to save my knee so that I haven't messed it up for long term, and I need to take a rest. So it's about tuning into yourself, really, and knowing the right thing with the right advice.
That's a really nice phrase, actually. We do talk a lot about mindfulness, but actually I think kindfulness is a much nicer phrase, because it's interesting. In the clubhouse, it's such a supportive environment, and we've got this kind of secret Facebook group, and there's about 100 women in there now, and women post, you know, their successes and the things that they're struggling with, and just how their week's going with their training and their eating, all sorts of things. And the kindness that I see from women to, you know, other members just blows me away. And then I'll see the same members being really kind of mean to themselves and beating themselves up about exactly the same thing they were boosting somebody else about.
Yeah, isn't it just crazy? You probably wouldn't allow anybody else to talk to you the way that you talk to yourself. And for me, you know, I want to start an international movement to get kindfulness into everybody's heads, particularly women, because we are so blimmin' awful to ourselves sometimes. The thing for me, though, is, and this is the same whether it's about eating or running or how you speak to yourself, it's really hard sometimes to stop doing something. So if you're trying to not eat chocolate, or you're trying to not stay on the sofa, or you're trying to not beat yourself up, you're focusing again on exactly what you don't want. So it's much easier to say, okay, I'm not going to think about the fact I'm not having any chocolate this week. I'm going to think about the fact that I'm going to really enjoy my green smoothies, or I'm really going to get excited about the soft fruit I'm going to treat myself to when I go shopping next, or I'm really going to you know, if it's about getting off the sofa, I'm going to focus on how good it feels at the end of a run, or I'm going to focus on how exciting it is when I tell everybody in the clubhouse how I'm going on this week. And if it's about what you're saying in your own head, instead of trying not to beat yourself up, you fill your head with something else instead, which is what we come back to with the affirmations. You know, write them up, remind yourself, so that instead of trying not to beat yourself up, you're instead filling your head with, I can do it, I can go easy on myself, I'm being kind, I'm okay, I'm doing the best I can. And one of my favorites is that I'm doing the best I can, I'm doing the best I can. And just, you see, while you're repeating that, you're setting off feel-good chemicals in the body, but what you're also doing at the same time is you're starting to set that as your mantra, and there's no room for anything else. Yeah. So it's almost like a kid who goes la 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 la, you know, they've got their fingers in their ears and they're shouting so they can't hear you telling them off. We're doing that with this mantra. Whatever you're saying, I'm doing the best I can, I'm doing the best I can, I'm doing the best I can. You can't, there's no room for any other crap to be coming in.
And I think in terms of food, it's really, I mean, I've just come back from Rome and I had 5 days of just really enjoying food, and rather than focusing on what I shouldn't or mustn't have, I was like, I'm going to choose the things on the menu that most call out to me. And actually they tended to be things that are kind of healthier than what everybody else was eating, and people were like, oh, you want a diet? And actually I wasn't looking at it from a diet point of view. I was just like, I'm in Italy, I'm going to choose food that I don't always have at home. So rather than having a pepperoni pizza, which I could have at home anytime, I chose a pizza that had oh, what did it have on? It had loads of green stuff on, an artichoke, and it just was so much more authentic than what everybody else had ordered. So I had this great 5 days in Rome, come back feeling really confident, and then come home to a whole heap of stress, all my emails from the week, and I hadn't done any food shopping, and it just all went out the window, and I had a terrible, terrible week of eating just rubbish. And on Friday, I was like, this has got to stop. And I was like, do you know what? As long as I have some greens on this plate, I'm making a start. I'm making a stab. So I still had crap food, but I made a salad. And that salad saved me. And I'm now kind of back on track. And I think it is that thing of saying, you know, it's not about what I can't have. It's about introducing foods that just are going to make you feel better. And in some ways, they're also taking up a bit of space on your plate. Because if you make a salad, there's less room for chips.
Absolutely. And it's like an overlap then, and it's much easier than like, boom, right, tomorrow morning I'm back on it, and it's, you know, we're going, right, tomorrow morning you better bloody eat well, you know, rather than, yeah, tomorrow morning, yeah, I might not, I might still have toast and marmalade, but I'll have some egg with it, you know. And one of the things that shifted my diet massively is having enough protein, because I never realized, I grew up being taught that bread and potato and that fills you up. Yeah, it does make you feel full in the moment, but it shouldn't keep you full for long. You know, it's the protein that will keep you going. So yeah, have a banana, but have some almonds with it, you know, and that will keep you going. And you know, it's those kinds of things. But I love that. Yeah, you think, right, I'm going to have this plate full of whatever, you know, junky nonsense, but I'm going to stick some good stuff with it. And it's the good stuff then that'll start getting you back on track. And that's a really good point.
Yeah, there's some brilliant comments. Everybody's kind of really positive. Everyone that's in the webinar, really positive. Lots of comments. Joanne says kindfulness is the way forward, and I agree with that. So I can't believe it. We're almost out of time, Pam.
Techniques yet? Should we do techniques?
Yes. So give me some of your best hard-hitting techniques that we can use.
Right. Okay. Here's the one that got the guy around the Amsterdam Marathon. He said he wouldn't have got more than halfway had he not remembered the technique I taught him. Okay, so probably most people are sitting down, but this is best done standing up. So you can either stand up or you can just put your feet flat on the floor. The idea is you put your feet flat on the floor. You imagine that you've got roots that are going from the soles of your feet through the floor. And even if you're upstairs, it goes through, all the way to the ground, deep, deep. So you imagine yourself like a tree with massive roots. And then you imagine that you're breathing in through those roots. So you're filling up yourself the power of the earth, and you breathe out and let go a little. So you're relaxing your shoulders, your face muscles and everything else. And then you put your hand on your belly, and those of you who know about Pilates will know this is kind of your strength core area. So imagine you're breathing into that strength there. Then you think about that programs on the world's strongest man and how the Scandinavians get themselves ready for pulling trucks and shifting rocks. And there's one guy in particular that I'll always remember, and he used to go, strong like bull. So you've got your feet firmly rooted, you're breathing to your core strength, and you're thinking strong like bull. Try it with a friend and see if you can actually move each other when you're feeling that way, and it really gets you there. But the other thing to add to it is putting your hands on your hips, which is the Wonder Woman pose. So and the weird thing about this is you put your hands on your hips and it does change your brain and body chemistry. You just start to feel more confident. It just switches things because your shoulders are back and you're feeling good. So for all the women out there, you are Wonder Woman all of the time. But of course, when you put your hands on your hips, it really reminds you to be in your power. Now, I didn't teach that to the guy, but he was going around the Amsterdam Marathon feeling like he started to think, I'm so tired, it so hurts, I can't do it. He remembered what we'd done and he went strong like bull, strong like bull, strong like bull, strong like bull. And he said that's what got him to the end. So that's my favoritist thing. Stand firm, hands on your hips, and in your head be saying whatever works for you, the thing that's really going to get you feeling good.
Pam, it has been fantastic. There are so many bits that we can take from there. The kindfulness, the bridging in terms of, you know, when you're going into the fridge, the strong like bull, the Wonder Woman. There's so many little nuggets that I know that the women in the clubhouse will start talking amongst themselves and sharing. And I'm sure that those ladies that are not in the webinar today will be watching it on the replay. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that I send all of the messages that they send to me about this webinar onto you.
That's fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, and tune in, ladies, next month for another fantastic webinar. See you soon.